Here, baby, get up here. Whoa, there's the prettiest coyote in the world. Everybody keeps asking me how my relationship with Weave got started. I used to have a pinned video on TikTok. I have no clue where that sucker went, but started with a bunch of buddies that was out hunting. Open that. Will you open it? Will you open? Come here, baby. Good buddies out there hunting turkey. Nothing going on. Coyote pokes its head out of the edge of the brush. Coyotes get blasted around here. I mean, they get hit for any reason. So a few moments later, all my hunting buddies, their buddies started gathering around and asked what he shot, asked if he got a turkey, and he's like, no, I shot a coyote. So they went to look at it. A couple yards away from where the coyote lay was a den. They're drinking my beer. We've pretty much well quit drinking beer. Anyway, they get looking at this den. There's 8 pups in there, so they couldn't just let them die, so they start scooping them up and pass them out, and everybody trying to take care of them. Wow. Get away from my cooler, you crazy bastards. Died off by the time I even heard about them. Neighbor lady called up, says, hey, I got a couple coyote pups. Can't handle them. I've got some things going on in my life. Would you like to have them? Get out of my cooler. Now, I didn't want a couple coyote pups, but I had a lot on my mind. I was married at the time. She just left 3 days earlier, so I go pick up a couple of these coyote pups to look for something to do in my life. Brought them home, got them to take a bottle. Woke up next morning. Bob was dead. He was just too far gone. He was too weak. He couldn't make it. We've made it through the first night. She's a little weak. Give her a bottle, and I headed to work. I fully expected her to be gone too by the time I got home from work, because I went and worked my 8-hour shift, got off that job and went to my other job, worked 4 hours there. So there's 12, 13 hours by the time you can include some drive that she hadn't been fed. Came home, she was still alive. She tears up every one of my coolers too. Leave my beer alone. So I gave her another bottle, kicked her out the door, went on about my way, went to bed, woke up middle of the night, couldn't sleep. Thought, well, we'll give her another bottle. Went out there she was. Gave her another bottle. Well, it's tough because coyote pups like that need to be fed about every 4 or 5 hours, and this was the schedule she lived off of for next 3-4 weeks of her life. Eventually, she started eating tomatoes out of my garden. I had some cherry tomato plants growing there on my deck. She'd lived on that back deck pretty much and lived off of cherry tomatoes, what bottles I fed her, and locusts were thick that year, so she was eating bugs like crazy. Raised 8 or 10 of these little guys over the years, and it's a guarantee by the time they're 6 to 8 months old, they start going wild, get a little grumpy, and all of a sudden they just leave. And we've done the same damn thing. 6, 8 months old, she took off for a few nights, didn't think nothing of it. Thought, well, she's got something to do, and all of a sudden she pops back up, starving. Feed her, she sticks around a couple days. By this time, she's 100% on her own. She's catching her own prey, eating her own bugs, mice, stealing tomatoes, anything she could do to stay alive. She's pretty much well on her own. A few days go by, and she disappears again. This time, she's gone for about a week and a half, and I come home from work one day, never even knew she was in the area, got out of the truck with a Subway sandwich, had it in one hand, carrying it by my side. She snuck up behind me, jumped up to try to get that Subway sandwich, got my pinky finger. That is the one and only time Weave has bitten me to draw blood. Complete accident. She had to jump. She's just a little bitty shit. She probably didn't weigh 15, 18 pounds at the time. I was so happy to see her, though. I sat out there on a log, and there's old videos floating around. I was almost in tears feeding her that sandwich, though, because I was so happy to see her, and I was freaking lonely. My good boy duck. So she stuck around a couple weeks that time, and everything was going fine, and eventually she disappeared again for a few days. This time, whenever she came home, she was almost dead. The other coyotes got her, almost completely ripped her back leg off. It was either broken or dislocated. Big gash in her groin, couple tears on her shoulders, ears all bloodied up. All she could do to get to the house. I can't take her to the vet like I can my good boy, so what little I could do for her leg, I did. I actually went to town and bought her a puppy bed for her to curl up on the back deck. Cleaned her wounds. Prayed for the best. Couldn't take her to a vet. Done everything I could for her and sat and wait. By this time, I'd started feeding her dog food. Declared her my dog, and she didn't leave that back deck for days, like over a week. As in, I had to clean up after her on the deck. She was just too sore, too tore up, and too weak to move. After my cooler again. Eventually, she did get roadworthy again. She can get around. She was hunting for herself, catching her own things. But she is terrified of the other coyotes ever since that. I mean, she'll run out in the yard and bark and howl at them, but they come to the yard, she's straight on the back deck. There is a huge one running around here. I haven't seen him all winter long. I called him Big Loner. He's in a couple of my old videos. But slowly they became best friends, and that's who we've hung around with. Big Loner was the only coyote that could come into the yard and not try to fight her. She cured my loneliness, but she was still lonely because she didn't have any friends. Oh, I seen that sneeze coming. So a bunch of people got together on TikTok, sent me some money on Cash App, and eventually I collected up about 600 bucks and went and got her a puppy. He raised this little puppy here from about the time he was the size of his head to what he is now. They've been absolutely best friends. Fix your ear, you reject. He is the most calmest, loving dog in the world. He's got a friend, he's got a friend, and they're running around all the time. By the time he's 4 or 5 months old, you know, he's getting big enough to where I was letting him stay out all night with her because she don't stay in the house. One time in her life, she stayed all night, and that's because there's a bad rainstorm. 5 o'clock in the morning, storm was over, she went right back outside. I'm the one lonely again. Kids are growing up, they got their driver's license, they're growing all over creation, playing with their friends. Every once in a while, you know, they pile their friends in, come out the house, they get fed, everybody's happy. My youngest boy realizes that, you know, I'm bored because Weave and Duck are always out running around playing, so Father's Day, he shows up with a little bitty kitten, about the size of this beer can, way too early. About the time Johnny Ringtail also came in the picture. He was a baby raccoon that fell in the window well in my house. Probably just passing around like regular coons do. He fell in there. Family abandoned him, left. I drug him out of there. Me and my son drug him out of there. And I'll be damned, threw him out of there. And Duck and Weave didn't kill him, which they are raccoon slayers. This big old meathead here absolutely loved that little raccoon. He loved that cat. So Weave started loving that cat, loving that raccoon. Now I've got 4 pets, and it's complete chaos because Duck is the only sane one out of the group. That baby kitten was attacking Weave, it was attacking the raccoon, it was attacking my pit bull. Howie's freaking nuts. He grew up tough. But ever since he was here for a couple months, he started living outside with the raccoon, with the pit bull, with a coyote, and actually started running around the neighborhood with them. Weave and Howie has actually been spotted over a mile away from my house traveling together. I mean, they're the only big old fluffy white cat and coyote that travel the area. Neighbors called in and says, hey, your freaking cat and coyote's clear over here in our backyard. Wasn't much I could do about it because once Weave is off my property, she gets off my property by a quarter mile. She don't even like me being around her. She gets spooky, hates strangers. Are you wanting a bear, Duck? You taught him that shit. Ever since then, it's almost 4 years now. Weave has been a permanent fixture in my life. Duck's been here. Howie's here. Johnny, I think, is around here somewhere because I could hear raccoons playing at night, and I could hear my dog and that coyote down there. And there's one around here that they don't kill, so I'm assuming it's Johnny Ringtail. But in a nutshell, that's basically the story of Weave, and I'm going to try to splice all this together. You guys already noticed that my editing sucks. I'm not good at putting videos together, but I'm going to splice everything together best I can, and I'm going to tag it up top. Maybe that way people figure out how I got a coyote in my life. Like I said, she's a fluke. I can't stand to let anything die. I got to take care of it. But any wild animal that I've ever taken care of in my life, as soon as they're ready to roll, as soon as they can take care of themselves, as soon as they're ready to leave, I got to let them go. You know, I don't try to keep them around. I don't pin them up. I don't lock them up. I don't keep them in the house locked up. I don't put leashes and collars on them. They're free to go as soon as they can take care of themselves. Johnny Ringtail stuck around for a couple years. That's pretty long for a raccoon. Usually they get big and mean after about a year. Weave, I honestly think the only reason she's still here is because she's afraid of the other coyotes. She's got duck to protect her. And they absolutely love each other. They play rough and they snarl on each other. They're very vocal animals, both of them. But you'll never see them bite each other. You never see them hurt each other. You never see them go for a throat shot. I'm going to go for a throat shot on her if she don't quit trying to steal my cooler. If you're lucky enough to see this video and you know somebody that watches duck and weave, please share it so I don't have to stop all the time and try to explain, you know, how weave came into my life. Read almost every comment that comes through. I'm not the smartest person. I don't reply all the time because, you know, I'm not that good at typing and responding, but I love the comments. I laugh. I like your comment because it's funny, because it's sincere. I love people telling me I've, you know, cheered them up on their bad days. And I hope that I can continue doing that. I mean, as long as she's around. We've got Itty Bitty running around with us now too. She's dragging them animals home too. She's got 5 of those ostriches now. I went and got her a donkey because she always wanted a little donkey. Got her another donkey. That donkey came with a donkey. I had to buy the mom to get the baby because the baby is only a day old. So that's where Itty Bitty Farm started. You know, you might want to go follow Itty Bitty Farm 1 because she posts a lot of neat videos with these guys too. So there you go. That's pretty much her story. It's almost summertime. I'm going to be here all summer long drinking videos and taking videos of my animals, and hopefully everybody enjoys.